Welcome back to the Chattable podcast, where enrich vocabulary and speak English with pride.
We are so thrilled to have you here with us today.
Yeah, absolutely. And just a quick note for you before we start, we won't be referring to this as a deep dive or anything like that today. We're just going to call it an episode.
Right, just a really focused, helpful episode.
Oh, exactly. And our mission for this episode is, well, it's to help you master two very specific, highly useful English expressions, ones that deal with positive progress, moving forward and getting a fresh start.
Yeah, because there is a huge difference in English between a sudden, dramatic rescue and a slow, steady climb.
Totally. And knowing that difference really makes your conversational English sound, incredibly natural. So let's just jump right into the first one.
Let's do it.
Have you ever been staring at the absolute brink of failure, like maybe a project at work is collapsing or a sports match is totally lost, and then suddenly a miracle happens?
Right, out of nowhere you're saved. Native speakers have a very specific phrase for that sudden second chance. They say someone has gotten a new lease on life. A new lease on life. And before we even talk about the meaning, we should really highlight the grammar there, right? Because it's a bit tricky. It is, yeah. A lot of learners might want to say a new lease of life or a new lease for life.
Right, which makes sense logically, but...
But the preposition you really need to use is on, O-N, a new lease on life. It's rigid, but that's what makes it sound perfectly natural.
Got it. Okay, so a new lease on life. Now, see, when I hear the word lease, my brain immediately goes to renting an apartment.
Oh, sure, or leasing a car.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like a very, dry administrative word. How does a rental contract become this intense metaphor for surviving a disaster?
Well, it's actually a pretty fascinating history. It originated in property law back in the 1800s.
Wait, really? Property law?
Yeah. I know it sounds super bureaucratic to us now, but back then, a lease wasn't just, a paper for a downtown apartment. For a lot of people, especially tenant farmers, a lease on a piece of land was literally their entire livelihood.
Oh, wow. So it was basically survival.
Exactly. It was the only thing standing between them and total ruin. And these contracts were for a very specific time period. So when the time expired, if the landlord didn't renew it, you were forced off the land.
You had nothing.
Right. You were ruined.
So, hitting the end of your lease must have been terrifying. You're packing your bags, facing the unknown, and then, boom, the landlord slides a new piece of paper across the desk.
Yes. You get to stay. You can imagine the emotion, right? That massive, sudden wave of relief.
Oh, absolutely.
And around the 19th century, people actually started borrowing this legal concept to describe human health.
Uh-huh. Because medical care was so unpredictable back then.
Very much so. Imagine someone falling terribly ill, right? The doctors and the family think the end is near. Their time on Earth is, expiring.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Yeah, but then the fever breaks. The person miraculously recovers.
So it felt like they negotiated a new contract with the universe.
Exactly. They were granted an extension on their existence, a new lease on life. It implies this huge burst of renewed energy.
And you were bringing that into a modern context. It makes me think of playing a really difficult video game.
Oh, I like this. Go on.
Like your character's health bar is totally empty. The screen is flashing red. The music is slowing down. And the game over screen is like a second away.
You've already accepted defeat.
Right. But at the last possible moment, you find a health potion. Or you get an extra life. You respawn. That crazy rush of adrenaline you feel in your chest.
That is the exact emotional equivalent, yes.
It's the best feeling. And I know we see this in professional sports too, right?
We do. And the sources we're looking at today highlight a legendary example from the 2019 Wimbledon tennis tournament.
Oh, the men's final. Novak Djokovic and Roger Federer.
Two of the absolute greatest. And Djokovic was pushed right to the edge of the cliff.
That match was so stressful to watch.
Deep into the fifth set, Federer was serving. He was up 40-15, which means he had 2 championship match points.
So Djokovic was literally one single point away from losing everything.
His health bar was at 0. He was staring at the game over screen, as you said.
Right.
But then Federer made a couple of really uncharacteristic errors. He missed shots he normally makes.
Oh, man.
And by failing to close it out, Federer unknowingly handed Djokovic a new lease on life. Djokovic just seized that sudden opportunity. His energy completely shifted, and he came back from the brink of defeat to win the whole thing.
That is just incredible. But what I think is really cool about this phrase is that it's actually super flexible. Like, it's not just for people or athletes.
No.
Because I'm thinking of my neighbor, Carlos. He has this ancient, beaten-up truck that he just refuses to sell.
We all know someone like Carlos.
Right. And a few months ago, the engine finally gave out. It was blowing smoke, grinding, and the mechanic was like, look, it's officially dead.
The contract was up.
Exactly. But Carlos couldn't afford a new truck, so he spent a whole weekend tearing out the broken parts and putting in a rebuilt engine. And now, I mean, the thing runs like it's brand new.
So Carlos gave that truck a new lease on life.
Yeah. He saved it from the junkyard.
That's a perfect everyday example.
Yeah.
But we should probably clarify something important here. There are boundaries to when you can use this phrase.
Okay, lay it on us.
You cannot use a new lease on life for every day. Minor luck.
Oh, like if I'm just having a pretty good day.
Right. It requires a desperate situation. Let's say you're walking through the park having a coffee. You look down and find a crisp $5 bill on the grass.
I mean, I'm thrilled I'm buying a pastry.
Sure, it's a great moment. But your life was already fine. You weren't facing financial ruin. Finding $5 is lucky, but it doesn't give you a new lease on life.
That paints a really clear picture. It demands a contrast between a dramatic ending and a rescue.
Exactly.
But, realistically, we can't always rely on dramatic rescues in life. It's exhausting living on the edge of disaster.
No, we can't. Most meaningful progress actually happens quietly.
Right. Which brings us to the second expression for this episode. When we want to talk about steady, measured progress over time, we use the word trending.
Trending. Trending. It's an incredibly useful analytical term.
I have to be honest, though, when I hear trending, my brain just goes straight to social media.
Most people's do.
Like a hashtag trending on X or some viral dance on TikTok. Isn't it just an internet buzzword?
Well, the internet has definitely hijacked it. And yes, online, it describes an algorithm detecting a sudden spike in attention. But in regular spoken English, especially business or sports, it does not mean viral or fleeting.
Okay, so what does it mean then?
It tracks real-world progress. It means a situation is moving or developing in a specific, reliable direction over a sustained period of time.
Interesting.
And to really grasp it, look at the physical origin. It comes from an Old English word, trenden. T-R-E-N-D-A-N.
Trenden.
Yeah. Hundreds of years ago, it meant to turn or to revolve. Specifically, it described a wheel rolling over the ground.
Oh, I love that image. Because a wheel doesn't just bounce randomly. Once it starts rolling, it has a continuous path.
Exactly. It gathers momentum and follows a direction. Eventually, people started using that rolling wheel idea to describe business prices. If costs went up slowly week after week, they were rolling upward. They were trending.
That makes so much sense. It takes the chaos of daily events and turns it into a clear path.
Exactly. We see it a lot in health and sports, actually, like with Patrick Mahomes.
The quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right. Towards the end of the 2025 season, he suffered a bad physical injury. And a recovery like that is a grueling process.
Right. You don't just get a new lease on life for a torn ligament overnight. It takes daily physical therapy.
Exactly. So a few months in, his head coach, Andy Reid, spoke to the media. He didn't just say Patrick feels better. He specifically said Mahomes' recovery is trending well ahead of schedule.
By saying trending, he's sending a very deliberate message. He's pointing to a continuous pattern of physical milestones.
He's observing the wheel rolling steadily. It implies predictability, so the team can actually plan to the new season.
That is the absolute lifeblood of the corporate world, too. Anyone listening who works in project management or sales knows that a single data point is kind of useless.
Completely useless.
Like, imagine a manager named Sarah. She oversees a mobile app. An update breaks the app. Users are furious. Sales plummet.
A total nightmare for her.
Yeah. So her team fixes the bug. But Sarah doesn't just assume it's fixed. Over 3 months, she tracks the data.
Right.
User churn drops in January. Daily active users climb in February. 5-star reviews return in March. When she presents to the board, she says, customer satisfaction is trending upward.
Because those executives don't care about one random good Tuesday. They want to see the trajectory.
Exactly. Which actually brings up a really important boundary for this word, too. We can't use trending for a single isolated change, right?
Correct. The core requirement is sustained time.
So let's say my coworker Alina feels fantastic and energetic on Monday, but then on Tuesday she comes in exhausted and tired. I wouldn't say her health is trending downward, would I?
No, you wouldn't. That's just a daily fluctuation. For Elena's health to be trending downward, she'd need to be exhausted every day for 3 straight weeks. The time factor is non-negotiable.
It's the difference between a bumpy road and a steep hill. A trend requires the hill.
That is a great way to put it. And distinguishing between these two phrases is what really makes your English sound precise.
Definitely. So to quickly recap for everyone listening, it really comes down to the vibes of the phrases.
The emotional state.
Yeah. A new lease on life brings drama, relief, a sudden second chance, like Carlos's dying truck.
Right. And trending is analytical, calm, progress-focused, moving steadily in a direction, like Sarah's app data.
So next time you're speaking English, try weaving these in. Tell a colleague the project metrics are trending well, or tell a friend your new coffee machine gave your mornings a new lease on life. It sounds incredibly natural.
And, leaving you with a final thought to ponder here, it's fascinating how the physical origins of these words shape us.
What do you mean?
Well, we're talking about very modern concepts of progress. Sales data, sports rehab, surviving modern illnesses. But the words we use are rooted in ancient physical things. A literal paper contract for a piece of dirt, or an Old English word for a wooden wheel turning.
Wow. Yeah. We're mapping our invisible modern lives using the physical tools of our ancestors.
Exactly. It makes you wonder how those physical origins subconsciously shape how we view our own life's progress and second chances.
That is such a profound point to end on. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this episode today. We hope you take these phrases out into the real world, experiment with them, and, really feel the momentum they bring to your conversations. Keep practicing, and we will catch you on the next one.